Face the Nation moderator and CBS News political director John Dickerson joins us now from Washington. John, you had Marco Rubio on Face the Nation this morning. You asked him about the Iranian prisoner swap. Let's first listen to what he had to say.
These people were hostages. The people America's releasing, they were convicted in a court of law after due process of helping violate sanctions. The president has pardoned them in exchange for a release of hostages, which had done nothing wrong. And it proves, once again, that now nations and enemies of America around the world know that there's a price for Americans. If you take an American hostage, Barack Obama will cut a deal with you, whether it's Bergdahl, what he did with the Castro brothers, and now what he's done with Iran.
So, John, as we get closer to the caucuses, what impact, if any, do you think this issue will have with the candidates?
I think probably not that much. It gives Republicans a chance to talk about national security, which is an area where they all feel like they can show their best, put their best foot forward, because essentially it's a contest among the candidates to show who can be stronger, and so that it's a chance for rhetorical flights of fancy. But I don't think specifically the question of Iran is what's going to matter here, coming down to the final voting, which is just 2 weeks away.
Okay, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton debate tonight in South Carolina. What do each one of them need to do well?
Well, I think for Hillary Clinton, the challenge is to show command of a variety of different issues, specifically those she's strongest on. And the most important thing for Democratic voters is make the case and explain why she has a more realistic opportunity to actually enact the things that they all care about, that all Democrats care about, and that she cares about. So on the questions of rebalancing the income inequality in America, of taking on Wall Street, of dealing with the economic challenges, she needs to make the pragmatic case. She also needs to then, as just a purely political matter, argue that she's the only one who can take on whoever the Republican nominee is, because she'll have the ability to fight them on both domestic economic issues, but also on foreign policy, where she has some judgment. And then the third place she would seek to differentiate herself would be on those foreign policy issues, where she has, of course, the title of Secretary of State behind her and can argue that she just has the experience for a crisis. For Bernie Sanders, it's basically keep it all focused on health care, on Wall Street, on the things that he would argue people care the most about in their daily lives. And because when he talks about that, it not only is an issue they care about, but he speaks about it in a way that younger voters particularly find inspirational and sort of reminds them why they became Democrats in the first place.
Okay, so moving back to the Republicans now, the major headline from last week's debate, Ted Cruz versus Donald Trump. The two have been turning up their attacks against one another. What do you think will be the lasting impact from Ted Cruz's New York values controversy?
Well, we don't really know. In the New York values line of attack works probably pretty well with evangelical voters, say, in Iowa. That's a major portion of the Republican voting bloc there in the caucuses. So to his audience, the one he's pitching to, it works nicely. And also he's essentially using words from Donald Trump's own mouth from an interview Trump gave in the past about why, when he was pro-choice and supported same-sex marriage, that was in keeping with New York, the values of New York, which are different than the values of Iowa. So the question, though, is whether that helps Cruz with his group, but is that sufficient to win in Iowa, and is that sufficient to build on in those other states? And we just won't know that till they start doing the actual voting.
Okay, Cruz is also facing a controversy over those campaign loans. Trump was actually booed yesterday when he started to attack Cruz over that issue. So does this issue stay on the table, or does this go away?
Say whatever you want.
Well, that'll be interesting to watch. It only stays on the table if Donald Trump keeps it there. What's interesting about this is that Donald Trump usually can make attacks kind of willy-nilly and they get picked up. We saw the success he had with running with this question of whether Ted Cruz is eligible to be president. The question of eligibility would seem like it might have gone away, and he kept it in the news. So will he do that here? The question is, what signal did he take from those boos? What signal is he taking from the talk radio hosts who are talking to those conservative voters and who have some pretty peppery things to say about Trump? He has in the past, when he's gotten pushback from that important constituency, he's kind of laid off. So we'll see in the next couple of days. He's not laying off his attacks on Ted Cruz. The question is just whether he keeps talking about these loans.
Okay, John Dickerson, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Sure thing.